Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at a portable power bank and jump starter for your car or truck. This is the Jomgand JW401. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at the Jomgand JW401. Now, if I pronounce the name wrong, I do apologise. I've been trying this for ages and I keep on getting it wrong, so yeah, if I call it something else, I apologise profusely. But anyway, the name doesn't particularly matter. What matters is the product itself, and we're going to take a look at it now, do a quick unboxing, go through some of the features, try out some of the charging abilities. Also, we'll be trying to start my flat battery on my car, which I've deliberately flattened by leaving the fans and lights on to simulate a flat battery situation. Also as well, at the end, we'll come back with some final thoughts and my recommendations. Okay, so first of all, looking at the packaging, yeah, don't expect a great deal. It is basically a plain cardboard box with a little bit of a sticker on the front. So it says Jomgand jump starter. This is the JW401, as we said. Capacity is 22,000 milliamp hours, so that's 81.4, and it's got a starting current of 1,000 amps and a peak current of 2,000 amps. So this actually puts it towards the top end of what is available on the market these days, especially at this kind of price point. Now, talking of price point, at the moment in the UK, if you go over to the site Jomgand, I'll put some links in the video description, you can check it for yourself, but currently at the moment, we're on the 16th of June, Father's Day is coming. They have got a special offer on at the moment, so whether or not that is going to carry on, whether they'll introduce more codes and more offers, I'm not entirely sure, but this currently retails for around about £45 in the UK, which I think is actually pretty decent value for money. Normal retail price, from what I can tell, this is around about £70, so there is a potentially massive saving to be had. Anyway, that's enough of that. So input wise, you've got input for charging is USB Type-C. You can also use USB micro. That is also a possibility. Obviously, if you're using micro USB, limited to 2 amps maximum. If you're using USB Type-C, you're looking at 3 amps maximum. Charging time for this is in the region of around about 5 hours for a full charge from zero. But generally, I think you're probably best keeping this topped up around about 50% or more. There is a bit of a kind of cut-off point, so if the battery is lower than a certain percentage, it actually won't start the vehicle. That is common on all of these devices, although most reviewers tend to kind of gloss over that a little bit. But I think it's actually really important that you guys know that that is the thing. There does need to be a certain amount of power in these. I believe this particular one is around about 30%, so if it's got less than 30% battery, it's unlikely to start larger engines. Obviously, they do recommend that you have it with a fully charged battery, etc, etc. There are full instructions and a guide inside the box, but just wanted to make you guys aware of that. So that's the input side of the way, so USB Type-C or micro USB for the inputs. For the outputs, we've got a Type-C connector, again, 5 volts, 3 amps, and also there's a USB micro, which is again is 5 volts, 2 amp hours. Also, you've got wireless as well, so this can charge wireless devices using the Qi standard. So this is a standard 5 watt, but also can output up to 10 watts, so it's going to be absolutely fine for things like your iPhone XRs, that kind of thing. Absolutely brilliant. And it's actually one of the first devices I've seen with wireless charging built in, which actually is more handy than you think, especially if you are obviously using a slightly more modern device with wireless charging. You can be using this out in the garden. At the moment here in the UK, we've got the summertime, so try and spend a little bit more time out in the garden, as you can probably see. But this is going to be fantastic, so I don't have to have a long wire going out to my phone to keep the battery charged when I'm watching videos or catching up on emails, that kind of stuff. You just have one of these and use the wireless charger. You can actually use it whilst you're charging as well, which is excellent. If you want to, you can use obviously a USB cable, lightning cable, micro USB, all those kinds of things. The choice is down to you, but I think for me personally, the wireless charging is a really nice addition. It just means you don't have to have another cable hanging around with you in your pocket or in the pack itself. So that's it for connectivity wise. Also, it's compatible with cars, speedboats, motorcycles, and also obviously tablets, phones, cameras, etc. This is another thing, because it is actually a power bank, again, 22,000 milliamp hours. You can, if you want to, if you're going out, if you're doing some photography, maybe you've gone away on holiday, or maybe you've gone out for the day and you want to take a load of video footage, or maybe you've got like a Pocket 2 camera, and those little gimbal cameras. The batteries do go flat on those pretty quickly, normally after about an hour or so. So having one of these with you, you can actually tether this to the device, keep it charged while you're going, or maybe if you're doing some kind of time-lapse scenario, then you can plug it into your camera and keep it charged throughout the length or duration of your time-lapse. So I think that's pretty much it from looking in the box. Let's take a look and see what we actually get inside. So this is a kind of like a 5-in-1 device, so it does various things. Obviously, it is a power bank, that is its kind of primary focus. It's also a car jump starter. Also, it's a wireless charger, And it's also got a torch built in as well, which gives you the option for either a flash, the SOS, or just a standard lamp. So yeah, there's lots of flexibility. This isn't a one-trick pony. It can do quite a lot of things. And also it comes in this really nice packaging, which is pretty decent. Again, it does stand upright as well. So if you've got a relatively modern car where you've got those kind of bits in the back of the boot where you can put things like bottles and that kind of stuff, this is absolutely perfect, and it keeps it nicely protected, nice stiff case, gets the job done. Also, there is a kind of like a mesh elasticated bit on the back, which they've used conveniently to put in some of the instruction manuals and also the warranty card itself. Looking at the instructions, etc., there's also contact details, so if you've got any problems, any questions or anything, or you just want to go to the website to maybe pick up some other devices, then you can do from that card there. And also there is a pretty in-depth user manual which takes you through all the settings, etc., etc. So let's take a look and see what we actually get inside the packaging. So nice Velcro top on there, and there is a dual section divider in there, so you can have the actual booster in one side and your cables or any extra cables you want to put in there, you can put in there. There's plenty of room for more cables. So let's take a look at the main one first of all. So this is the actual booster itself. It actually looks pretty decent. One thing I would have liked to have seen on this is maybe a slightly more rubberized outer shell. This is just tough plastic, so although it does the job and actually the grip on it is very good, I personally would have liked to have seen maybe a rubber surround or some sort of rubberized corners just to protect it a little bit, but that is being exceptionally picky. So on the front you've got a LED readout, so if you press the power button, it turns on, tells you things like your battery level. Also you can tell that the charging section is working, the QI charger for this section here, and it says USB, so USB is ready. Depending on what devices you plug in on the side, it will tell you actually on the display, but obviously you plug the devices in, so you probably know that anyway, but I guess it may help some. So on the top again, power button. If you press and hold the power button, then that turns on the light on the front, and if you press it again, it goes into SOS mode. So that's blinking the SOS distress signal. And if you press it again, it goes into strobe mode. So if maybe your vehicle's broken down at the side of the road, then that could be quite handy just to leave it by the side, just to give oncoming motorists some indication that there's a problem ahead. Press and hold the button again, and it turns the lights off. So yeah, pretty simple, very intuitive. There's not a ton of buttons to get used to on here. It's literally on, off, and that is essentially it. On the side, we've got our connectivity. So again, very simple, very straightforward, no confusion here. So we've got our micro USB, again 5 volts, 2 amps. That is a input or an output. We've also got another input or output, which is also 5 volts. That is the 3 amp, that's the USB type C. And on the end there, you've got an output, which is the 5 volts, 2.4 amps, which is your standard type A USB. So that is going to be things for, again, plugging in your phone if you want to use it as a corded charger, using a lightning cable, micro USB, all those types of things, or just powering another device. So say for instance, maybe you've got one of those USB powered mini fridges and you want to power that whilst you're on the beach. Absolutely perfect for that kind of use. Okay, the limits are pretty much endless. Anything you can power from USB wall socket, essentially you can power from there also. On the other side, nothing at all. Again, pretty simple, straightforward. On this end, again, we've got the torch, which we saw a little bit earlier, and also there is a plastic dust cap which covers up the booster starting section. So you just peel that back. That is actually a captive flap on there, so you're not going to go losing it anywhere, which is awesome. And you can plug in the actual smart charger from this section, which we'll take a look at very shortly. But what I wanted to show you first of all is the wireless charging. I really like the wireless charging. So turn the device on, grab your phone, stick it on the top, and you can see it starts charging straight away. So even though I've got a particularly thick case on this phone, it's still going ahead and charging. Again, anything up to 10 watts it can transfer through that Qi interface. So yeah, really, really good. Again, if you're using this out and about, if you're maybe out in the garden, at the beach or whatever, maybe you've got this put to one side, just leave it there, leave your phone on charge, and just that is it. It's automatic, it's self-controlled, all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to worry about, is it charging, is it not charging? Literally, whilst it's on there and the unit's been turned on, it will automatically charge until the phone is completely charged, and then it'll shut itself down. Absolutely brilliant. So let's take a look at what else we get actually inside the packaging. So inside the rest of here, there is a USB type C cable, which is actually a pretty decent thick one as well. So you should be able to get some decent current through there. Really nice to see included straight out of the box. And you get our smart charging system. So again, this uses the very common kind of connector there, which fits on most of these types of devices, to be completely honest with you. has got full instructions on as well. So for some reason, if it's very dark or whatever, or you haven't got those instruction manuals with you, all the instructions are clearly printed on the back of the device itself. Also, there are two LEDs, a green and a red LED, which tell you things like if there's a problem with polarity, the smart status, all those kinds of things. The cables themselves, not overly long, but certainly should be enough for even some of the larger batteries, depending on the terminal width, should be absolutely fine. The jewels themselves, really nice little clamps, and they are double soldered and double cabled as well. So the main cable going in, which is an 8-gauge cable, goes through and connects to both jewels and is kind of butterflied back onto itself. So even if you've got a battery which is in a particularly awkward place, or maybe you've got a grounding area which is a little bit difficult to get to, and maybe you can only get one side of the jewels onto it, then again, absolutely fine. That is something which some smart chargers do actually have a problem with, because they're only actually connected on one side of the jewel, the other side is purely a clamp. So yeah, takes some of the guesswork out of it, and also obviously it's going to give you a much better contact surface. Fortunately, this is almost idiot proof, so the actual connection itself is keyed. So there is like a D shape and a circle, so this will only physically plug in to the unit one way. So if I turn this around, I'll try and plug it in. So that went in first time because we got it around the right way, and as you can see straight away, because it's not connected to a battery, it's kind of in sensing mode, so the lights are pulsing across. Normally when you connect this up to a vehicle, you would first of all turn the device on, then connect up the battery, and then plug this in, and then it will be ready to go after around about 30 seconds generally. So yeah, really good, very straightforward, very simple. I like the fact that it's all kind of modular, so if you want to, you could just take out the power bank. You don't have to take all this stuff out with you. So yeah, really nice little modular system, absolutely fantastic. I should say as well, this will start vehicles with petrol engines up to 8 litres and diesel engines up to about 6 litres. So I think that's going to cover a huge percentage of all the vehicles on the road. Obviously, if you've got a smaller vehicle, it's still absolutely fine. It just means it'll start it that much easier. And talking of which, it's about time we actually tested this out. So I'm going to go out to the car now. My car is a 2-litre turbo diesel, so let's get out there, check the situation for the battery, which should be flat by now, and we'll see if we can get this started. Okay, so there we go. Just got into the car and literally the battery is gone. Press the part. Yeah, it's we've got error messages and all kinds of stuff going on here. The gong's going crazy. The battery has just got enough power in it to show the, well, it hasn't even got enough to remember the time or the date. It currently thinks it's the 1st of March, which is currently not, because it's the 16th of June. So let's flip the bonnet and try and get this thing started. Okay, so let's get this connected up. So let's put this down first of all. So we want our positive terminal, which is this one here. Clamp onto there, and we've got our negative terminal, which is this one down here, and then we can turn on the device. So just press and hold that, and now we can plug in the connector. And there we go, we've got our green light, which you possibly might be able to just about see there. There's a little green light there saying that polarity is okay. So as you can see, it's taken the percentage right down to 7%. So we'll give this about 15 seconds or so. Make sure it's all connected up. Yeah, that's all good. And let's try and press the start button. So when the car is started, then you can remove the connections and put the caps back on. And that is it. Disconnect this from the unit, let the engine run a little while, and it should be absolutely fine. Happy days. Actually worked very quickly, so that is always see on there. So yeah, that did take quite a lot out of the battery, but it certainly got it started, which is the main thing. Right, let's go back inside and wrap this up. Okay, so there we go. I'm not too sure what the footage is like. I haven't actually looked at it yet, but I figured I'd wrap up this video. It's absolutely boiling out there. And that is one thing which a lot of people do not take into consideration. Most people think that car batteries only go flat in the winter when it's cold. The sunny weather or the heat actually does take it out of batteries as well. So if you've got a battery which is on the verge of kind of failing anyway, the heat definitely will bring that forward a little bit. So any extremes of temperature, high heat or low cold, that will really give your battery hell. But fortunately, this is actually done pretty well, and again, we're down to 7% now, which hopefully you can just about see on the camera. So we had this charged up, it was around about 60%, and the battery on the car was, yeah, almost non-existent. It struggled to unlock the central lock-in, so again, I'm not too sure how well that's come out on the video, but certainly, yeah, it has given this thing a real punishing, but certainly it did do the job. There was no overheating. The cables remained soft and flexible, which is always a good sign. Jumper cables, when they start getting stiff, that means they're starting to break down internally, so definitely worth getting a device which is suitable for a job. So anyway, this has been the Jomgand Jumpstarter, the JW401. There'll be links in the video description so you can check it out for yourself. There may or may not be some discount codes. I have been speaking to them directly to see if we can offer some of our viewers a discount code. If not, there's discounts on the site quite frequently anyway, so yeah, do check it out. Also as well, if you're after other batteries, so maybe you've got a Dyson vacuum, a Nito, maybe using power tools, so your DeWalt's, your Hitachis, Makitas, all that kind of stuff. They actually do batteries for a whole range of devices, so just because maybe you don't want this one, check out the site anyway, you might get yourself a bargain. And also if you're using household batteries, your D cells, C cells, AAAs, AA's, 9 volts, all that kind of stuff. They do lithium ion batteries, NIMHs, all those kinds of stuff are rechargeable. So yeah, might be worth checking out and saving a few quid. So anyway, this has been the Jomgand Jumpstarter. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.